Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world.
From the Keith Vincent Kayola Studios in Patterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, we're going to jump into the Flannan Isles mystery. What happened to the Lighthouse Keepers that vanished? And now your host, JC3.
Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real? On this episode, as Dad said, we are talking about the Flannan Isles mysteries. In the booth this week, we have the three-piece. We have Big Joe, like you heard at the beginning. Say hello to everybody, Dad.
Hello, Big Joe. Hello, everybody.
You have me, of course. I'm JC3. And then you have the Don at the desk. Anthony's back in the booth
And
with us.
if we're speeding it up a little bit tonight, we're doing it because tonight's opening night.
I'm not speeding anything up.
Not at all, no.
No, I'm not. I'm not speeding anything up.
I want to be known as Fergus Wallace while I'm on this podcast tonight.
No, it's not happening. I do have veto power over your voice.
Okay, Fergus.
God damn it.
We are doing this correctly, all right?
All right, already. What's going on with this fucking mystery island?
So, it's not a mystery island.
What happened?
So, there was a mystery on an island. The Isle of Flannel. Flannan.
Can we get this right, please?
Flannan?
So, just 4 days before Christmas 1900, in the year 1900, three lighthouse keepers seemingly vanished into thin air on the remote Flannan, goddammit, Isles. I can't say that word correctly.
There's going to be someone in Scotland who just hates us.
Not a single shred of evidence was ever found to point to what might have happened, and theories over the years claim that the men were killed by pirates, eaten by seabirds,
That's going to be one hungry fucking seagull.
and even kidnapped by aliens. So we're going across the board here. So there's a couple books. So again, that's literally the mystery. Nobody knows what happened.
Good night.
Nobody knows what happened to these lighthouse keepers. So the keepers were James Ducat. He was the principal keeper. Thomas Marshall. He was the second assistant. Donald MacArthur. He was the occasional keeper, doing duty for William Ross, who was the first assistant on sick leave.
Three guys got a fucking man to flip a switch?
No, they weren't flipping switches in 1900.
Oh, yeah,
they
it's
were
1900.
carrying oil
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the top
They were-
and lighting it up.
Something you can never do.
Okay.
So their disappearance was only discovered as a result of the routine visit by lighthouse tender. Hesperus. Hesperus. On December 26, 1900. A vessel had passed the Flannan Island at about midnight on December 15th, and on arrival in port had reported that the light was never seen. However, this wasn't communicated to the Northern Lighthouse Board until the keeper's disappearance had been discovered by Hesperus.
I have a question.
Already?
If the light wasn't on, how did they know it was there?
Because the same boat had made many, many trips through that canal, that channel.
Yeah.
And they knew it was.
They always knew to look for it.
Right.
Okay.
Good. So Captain Harvey was master of the Hesperus. He reported that on arrival at the Flannans during the afternoon of December 26th, there was no sign of life to be seen on the island, and no response was made to a rocket fired from the ship. The relieving keeper, Joseph Moore, went up to the lighthouse but found no one there. Moore reported the facts to the master and later returned to the island with three others. Mr. MacDonald, The buoy master, who was on board of the vessel at the time, the seaman Lamont and Campbell, all three having volunteered to remain on the island with more to keep the light in operation. The disappearance was immediately investigated. It was concluded that due to the very bad weather on the island, the men must have left the lighthouse for some purpose or other, probably to secure gear to find out what damage had been done at one point of the landing places, and had been caught by an unexpected large roller and swept into the sea. Roller meaning, I'm guessing, a wave.
Okay.
The last written entries in the keeper's log were for December 13th, but the particulars for December 14th include the time of extinguishing the light on December 15th, along with barometer and thermometer readings. Huh?
Barometer.
Whatever. Barometer and thermometer readings and state of the wind taken at 9 a.m. on December 15th were noted on the slate for transferring to the log later. Everything was in order, the lamp was ready to be lit, and it was evident that the work of the forenoon on the 15th had been completed. This indicated the men had disappeared on the afternoon of Saturday, December 15th.
Okay. Thank you.
You're going to say something?
No, I was just saying okay.
It's a lot of. It's very strange to me that some of the theories that they try to put through was two of them were securing equipment down on the one side of the island inside of a cave that was about 110 feet above sea level, and the third one went down there to warn them that we got inclement weather coming in, and it was going to get rough, and somehow when he got there, he was swept away as well. But there's an entrance in the logbook on the 15th, and now they supposedly went missing on when? The 13th?
No, the 15th.
The 15th. Okay, yeah. It said more doubt was cast on the official investigation with the emergence of a logbook supposedly containing several baffling entries between the 12th and the 15th of December. In the first entry, Marshall is supposed to have written that a great storm, the likes of which he had never seen before, had hit the island. He continued that Ducat was unusually quiet when the storm hit, and MacArthur, a big burly man, not known to have much of a sense of the side, was weeping. So whatever this was scared the living shit out of these guys.
Maybe.
And I got the only conclusion that you can come to in something like this is this had to be a storm that took these guys out.
Well, that's what logic dictates.
Right.
We see this, 3 guys are missing, and on a fucking rocky little island in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. That's what we... Why am I always on these fucking episodes and people go missing and there's a logical explanation? We don't know where the fuck they went, but we know what happened.
Well, that's one of the theories, though.
First of all, again, logical, you can't sit there. There's a lot... You could sit there and say that, okay, that possibly could happen, but you could sit there and say anything happened.
Lick my Flanneries, all right? Here's the thing. You're going to throw UFOs at me. Don't throw UFOs at me. There's no fucking evidence for UFOs.
Oh, there's a lot of evidence for UFOs.
No. I'm not talking about in general. I'm talking about for this.
Oh,
okay?
Okay.
Yes. I'm talking about this mystery specifically. There's no UFOs.
I have a question. Where do you... Okay.
The evidence of absence is not the evidence of absence of evidence.
But there's no evidence of anything.
There's no evidence of anything. You're absolutely right. But my point is, the simplest conclusion... was that? I forget what it's called. Where the simplest conclusion is probably the right one. What's the... It's I forget the hell it's called.
No, I didn't go to college. You did.
But there's also... You got to leave the possibility open. Like, I mean, the other theory now is that MacArthur probably murdered the other two, ditched the bodies into the sea, and then threw himself off the cliffs. Now, why would he do something like that?
Oh, I had a thought that ran through my head, and I should not say that on live.
Occam's razor. Sorry. The simple answer is often most correct. Occam's razor. Hold on. Yes, I'm looking at a list of all of the possible theories: a wave, a quarrel, spies, a sea monster, ghosts, and UFOs. Something goes missing. We don't understand how. Anyone could just throw shit at the wall, and it's going to stick because there's no way of proving them otherwise.
Correct. That's what theories are.
Right. But I really think that the simplest explanation is always going to be just, this is what happened.
If you think about that throughout everything in your life, then you're gonna let a lot of shit pass your head.
Give me some evidence to show me that there was a possible UFO.
Well,
give me some evidence that showed me that they were swept away by a giant wave.
They're in the ocean. They're in the fucking ocean.
Have you ever found their bodies?
No. Well, there's a lot of people who go missing at sea. Is there any sort of historical weather thing where like people are like, oh yeah, a storm passed through this place on the day that the guys supposedly went missing?
Oh yeah.
Because if that's true, there's your answer. They went outside to kind of bunker down and make sure that the fucking rowboats don't go flying in the way of the storm.
The final log entry was reported on December 15th and said, storm ended, sea calm, God is over all.
Well, in other words, those guys made it through the storm.
Yeah,
and that's where the mystery in itself lies. Because I do agree with you that the easiest explanation would be they would have been swept out at sea. But then who wrote in the logbook?
Well, that was before they went out.
The storm was ended.
Yeah, okay. Hold on.
So if the storm was ended, then maybe it was the rocks were that wet they just slipped into the thing. I can't buy that at all.
3 of them at the same fucking time?
Yeah, I can't buy that at all. Now,
hold on.
Again, before you had mentioned that, I thought the storm was raging when they disappeared.
No.
Well, it said the storm had died by the 15th, and by the experienced keeper's failure to follow regulations. But it's not hard to imagine the storm picking up again or some special circumstances in which the lighthouse was left unmanned. However, if they hadn't been unexpectedly swept by a large wave, why had the lighthouse been found locked? Oh, the lighthouse was found locked. So
there was also evidence that they were preparing for a meal, and there was one oilskin, which is it's a covering that they wear.
Yeah,
and there was one suggesting that one of them went out into this and disappeared in his skivvies, shall we say? So
maybe one asshole went stir crazy.
And killed the other two and then killed himself?
Well, maybe he went to go kill himself and the other two went chasing after him. Listen, there's a good person we all know who got a little bit loopy and ran down the middle of West Broadway and almost got hit by a bus, and me and Joey both went after his ass to bring him back. So I'm thinking maybe...
Yeah, but that was under alcohol.
Yeah, he was drunk. But my point is, he was drunk. You have another guy who gets all fucked up and is in like, I can't take this shit anymore. I got to look at something else other than you two fucks. He goes stir crazy, and he runs out into the storm, or he runs out outside, and the two assholes go to find him. And he winds up taking him off.
Did you see what you just did?
Yeah.
Okay, you actually, you started off like I did, that this only logical explanation would be the storm, but now something else came in, and now you're actually investigating another theory.
I'm allowed to pivot, but I'm keeping it within the realm of logic.
Right.
There's no sea monsters. There's no ghosts. There's no UFOs. Those things I throw the fuck out. Even spies. There's a theory that there were spies that had been surveying different lighthouses, German spies, and they had murdered the crypt keepers, the lighthouse keepers. So spies or fucking, what's the other thing that you said? Pirates?
Yeah, pirates.
I'm like, where's the evidence for that? I don't see.
Well, there is, as far as they have not found evidence of this in this case. But using the logic, the pirates did do that. There's many, many stories of pirates that would just go around from place to place, pillaging everything.
Yeah, I get that, but they would have taken other shit too. Their stuff was still there. The door was locked.
That's very possible. But then again, that's not one of the theories here that I can dig up anyway. I believe that this has something to do. I mean, there's only two possible explanations, unless you really want to go out there. I mean, you want to say sea monster? Well, you know what? There was always reported large squid. I don't know how the island's shaped, so I can't tell you that a thing could actually grab it or whatever. I don't know.
Here we go. Go on, Ant. Come on. I know there's something stirring in that head of yours.
Well, I'm saying there's no evidence for that as well.
It was the Loch Ness Monster. It's in Scotland. The Loch Ness Monster left the loch, and it wanted to do a kind of swim around the Isle. And they saw these lighthouse keepers fucking on the beach, and it's like, I'm going to eat those things.
I swear, whoever's listening, I want to punch you sometimes with the shit that comes out of your mouth.
That's fair.
But We're going to take a short little break real quick, and we'll be right back with more of the Flannan Isles. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Anthony from Multimedia Mafia. If you love what we do and you want to know more about us, head on over to greenarrowmedia.org. On there, you're going to find links to both Multimedia Mafia show and our sister show, Is This Real?, which is all about conspiracies and aliens and all sorts of wonderful stuff like that. If you want to support us, head on over to our merch page where you can buy a hat or a mug. We have lots of different designs and cool colors. If you want to meet us, we got pictures up there. We have a little biography, and you can even stream the show right through the website. And hey, don't forget to check out our YouTube link where you can check out all the filming that we do right on our YouTube page. Check us out, greenarrowmedia.org.
Hello, hola, konnichiwa. I have a very important question for you. Is this real? That's the motto of our weekly podcast. We question everything from the paranormal to conspiracies, even the extraterrestrials. There's no topic we won't dive into. So tune in and listen to our show every Sunday at 8 p.m. And remember, folks, question everything.
And we are back with this short little episode about the Flannan Isles and the mysterious disappearance of 3 Lightkeepers.
Yeah.
And we all can't seem to agree on what the hell happened to them. At least trying to figure it out. I mean, there's been a lot of books and stuff like that written about this. This intrigues a lot of people. A lot of people. People going missing in general just intrigues people.
Right, because I think people like to let their minds run away with it. Because at that point, you got a blank canvas. You could just say anything.
And especially with something like this where there's no leads, no nothing. There's literally, like, again, it's hard to sit there and like try and go somewhere with this because there's literally nothing. You don't have bodies. You don't have any evidence of a struggle or any evidence of this or any evidence of that. So you're just sitting there like, it could be anything.
Well, I got 2 possibilities. One of them is 2 of the guys went down to secure the stuff. The third guy was still back at the Lighthouse. He was preparing the dinner. And somehow because I think he was the same guy that was actually brought up on charges because he screwed up the equipment earlier. And he ran down to the thing to remind them, do it this way, do it that way. And there's a storm approaching. And what happened was, because the storm was approaching, and he ran down without his oilskin on, he had just left the table set. Now, why the thing was locked, I have no idea. That to me is that's a mystery in itself. That's my first theory. And then they all got killed with, the storm took them away. The second theory is the 2 went down to do something with the equipment, and the third guy, while preparing the dinner, snapped and killed the other 2 and then took himself out. Locked the door, figured he wasn't coming back in.
Oh, and so he kept everything safe when he went to go kill somebody.
Well, who knows? You don't know what goes through somebody's mind when they're deadpan on killing someone.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics.
I don't know. I just there's so much to sit there and let your mind run with this. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard to talk about the topic. Now, granted, it's a very interesting topic because, again, like I said, there's so many things, possibilities. And again, like we were talking before the break, you want to sit there and have it as like, oh, this is, what the logical explanations, and you want to give it that. Just like the one guy in his report, he goes, from evidence which I was able to procure. What evidence?
There is none. That's the whole point of a fucking mystery. Well, no.
He goes, Muirhead concluded in his official report, I was satisfied that the men had been on duty up until dinner time on Saturday the 15th of December, that they had gone down to secure a box in which the mooring ropes, landing ropes, etc., were kept, and which was secured in a crevice in the rock about 110 feet above sea level, and that the large... An extra large sea had rushed up to face the rock, had gone above them, coming down with immense force, and completely swept them away.
Mm-hmm. Do you know? Is there any evidence as to the Lighthouse Keepers, as far as like how long they have been or how long they were Lighthouse Keepers before this?
I have not seen.
You know what I mean? Like
the names up to figure it out.
You know what I mean? Like maybe they're like new on the job and they just fucked up. They didn't read the handbook. Don't go out during a storm.
The storm was over.
Maybe there was a second storm.
There's no evidence of the second storm.
Okay, my point is maybe they went outside to survey the damage and they fell off. Okay, there was a storm that happened. They went outside. One guy went to survey the damage and he slipped and fell off a cliff and he was hanging by like the rock. And the other guy went, I'll come down and get you, and then he fell. And then it was up to the other guy to hoist him back up, and then they all fell in the fucking drink. Maybe that's it.
According to this guy who wrote a book, John Love, he said that 2 of the lighthouse keepers had previously been fined for not storing gear properly in a prior storm, and that must have been on the back of their minds. And that's why they went out and they did... That's why they went out and they secured this stuff in the very, very bad storm. And then the third guy ran out there as well to help them, and he got washed away. So this guy, John Love, is basically saying there is no mystery. This mystery is basically somebody, they're making it a mystery. But he's right there telling you, instead of staying out of the fear scale, they ventured out to make sure their equipment was safe, only to be hit by a huge wave.
Does he have proof of that?
Well, no, he doesn't. But again, he says here, however, the expert, the expert has claims a toppled chair and a number of unfinished meals were found by rescuers on Boxing Day 1900.
Which is the day after Christmas.
Right. So, Mr. Love said it was only after 1912 when English poet Wilfred Wilson Gibson published his epic Flannan Isles that the story began to assume such an air of mystery, speculation, and even intrigue. So it wasn't a mystery or anything until this guy released a song, and that's when it took on a life of its own.
Yeah, so
it was a mystery because it didn't even with the investigation, it didn't come up with any evidence of what happened. They said this could have happened. This possibly more than not happened. Right. But that's not a definite, yes, this is exactly what happened. Here's the evidence of which it happened.
Joey,
you're not going to get that, though.
You think you're going to solve that tonight? When these guys
no, but I don't want
40 years, 130 years old.
I get that, but I don't want to sit there and say, well, the closed shut and ended. You know what I mean?
I think Fergus has a theory. Fergus, would you like to?
No, there's not a fourth person named Fergus.
Quiet, Joey. I have a theory.
This is where we lose everyone.
So the lighthouse keepers, right? The storm had passed. They go out to the beach, and one was eating his haggis, and the other one was the other one was playing the bagpipes. They were all trying on their kilts, and they were all drinking Macallan 18, and they were getting nice and fucked up. And all of a sudden, the Loch Ness monster came by, and he whipped away with his tails and knocked them all into the fucking drink, and then we had no more lighthouse keepers.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace.
So it's Fergus Wallace.
Checks in the mail.
Fergus Wallace. Always here to help you out.
Yep. And this is when we get canceled.
We're not going to get canceled because I do a fucking shitty Scottish impression, all right? Relax.
Ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to pull our own plug. Here we go.
I'm going to pull a plug on you.
That's called suicide, sir. We're shutting down the company because we're censoring ourselves. Here we go.
But I don't want to just sit there and go like this one. So it's cool. We figured it out.
Again, to the people that are listening tonight, this is a very rough topic because basically there is, again, no evidence. But we're trying to make light of the fact. We're trying to make people think about what might have happened here. And there's not a lot to go on, but that's what we do here at Green Arrow, or that's what we do here at Is This Real?
This is just like the Mary Celeste. It is just like the Mary Celeste or the Dyatlov Pass episodes, which you can both check us out.
First of all, the Dyatlov Pass episode, there's a lot more that we didn't cover.
Yeah, don't go there. There's way too much.
No, I'm saying like the idea like there's a mystery that like, we don't know what the fuck happened.
Right.
Thank you. That's what a mystery is. On to the next subject.
I'm going to force feed you haggis and shave you.
Fucking asshole.
You've heard the Highlander, you're the Lowlander.
I don't understand. It's like, mysteries. This is what the season...
I'm trying to plug the fucking... Go listen to our older episodes.
That's what the season is about. We're talking about mysteries this episode.
Yeah, but there's no substance to any of these mysteries. Shit
you know what?
missing.
There's one thing we're not talking about here, and I believe you brought it up earlier, Anthony, is...
fucking backslash.
It's Billy the Horse.
What?
Yeah.
Billy the Horse... they were trying to upload a horse onto the island during the construction, okay, and they had him in a sling, and he got pissed off, and he jumped out of the sling, and he struggled out of his sling and fell to his death into the sea below.
Gee.
So now that's 4 deaths on this island.
And not to mention, they're bringing a horse to this fucking... it's a rock, right? They're building a lighthouse on a rock, and the rock is raised up out of the sea level. That's just the way it naturally is. It's not like some nice little beach and you have a nice little berth to go all the way up and you walk the shoreline. It's a fucking rock. So you have the horse strapped to a harness being basically craned up onto the landing. That horse was scared shitless, and down goes Mr. Ed. Who the fuck is gonna... The equestrians are gonna cancel me now? All I'm saying is the fucking horse died. Okay. Why? Because it fell off the fucking rock into the water.
Yeah, there's evidence of that. People saw it.
Oh, Josh, where are you?
He can't hear us right now.
There's no sign of... There's no disaster. There's no, aliens. There's no sign of... yes, it could be. Could be aliens. Could be. No evidence whatsoever, but it was aliens. At least there's some aliens leave a little fucking crop circle behind. Leave something. There's scorch marks in the water.
You're going to tell me they're going to leave a crop circle where there's no crops?
Maybe something burned into the fucking grass.
Well, what do you think out there?
Or maybe there was some other sightings.
Do you think this is Marvel? Where he calls fucking from Mjolnir and whatever the fuck that thing is, and it leaves a fucking thing, a trail behind?
I think we should incorporate some of the listeners to find out what they think. Because
yes, let us listen. Hold on. They're not really saying anything. I'm just saying.
This is going to be down to a 2-man booth real quick.
My point is there's no substance here. This is all bread, no meat, okay? This is all mystery. Something happened, and we basically went, we don't know what happened.
When is this contract up?
But we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay.
All right, so we come now. We got the 2 mysteries, or we got the 4 deaths, and we have the mysteries of what happened. Let's find out.
First of all, the horse, Mr. Ed, count him out.
Okay, count him out. So it's 3. So what do we think happened?
I don't know. You could sit, again, I don't want to just sit there and plainly say, well, I'm going to use the logic here. They were swept out of the fucking water.
All right, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to play host for a second. What would you, if you had a gun to your head and say, this is what happened, if you had to pick one theory, what would that theory be?
There's no evidence for any theory.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm not asking you.
Hold on. No. What theory has an abundance of evidence behind it that you could say that's exactly what happened on that day?
I think
No. That word, I think, throw it out.
Okay, fine. You want to know which theory has the most that treads the most water? And I'm using that phrase specifically. The one with the fucking wave. Why? Because it's on a fucking island. Shit is slippery after a fucking storm.
Show me evidence that happened.
All right,
I'm not saying that it happened. I'm saying it's the most likely to happen. That's what you're confusing. You're sitting there saying to me that aliens. You can't blame aliens. You can't blame ghosts. You can't blame it. I'm like,
why
no.
Why can't you?
There's no evidence for that shit.
So there's no evidence that they were swept away from wave
What is
either.
the most likely is what I'm going with.
Yes,
the thing that most makes sense.
All right, we'll try this again. What is, in your mind, what is the most likely scenario?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
You're a cocksucker.
Anthony, what would be the most likely? Well, we know.
He already said it. He
Let me
already,
put it like this.
He already haggled over what the fuck he just said, all right?
Let me just let me try to visualize it for me, would you please? If you were to take all of the theories and put them on a graph, right? Likelihood of mystery. The one with the wave or falling off the cliff or being swept out to sea, any variation of those specific that idea is going to have maybe a 75 to 85% chance everyone's going to go with that because that's the most likely and it makes the most sense.
People don't think out of the box.
Ghost, UFO, Loch Ness
Ghosts, I
Monster,
don't know. There's
Mickey
no
Mouse,
about
they're
any
going to
ghosts.
be at the 1%ers because those are the people.
Mickey Mouse.
Those are the people who wear the tinfoil hats and they talk to their toasters and they pray and they eat nothing but microgreens and they're the fucking weirdos. And some of their weird shit is on the point.
And you're going to sit there coming from a man who sits in his basement and does nothing almost every night.
First of all, I sit in my basement, I get stoned, and I talk to God. That's my choice.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history, we also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
Okay, so
All right,
It's all about
I'm gonna ask
delusional theories.
myself- Joe, what do you think is the most likely scenario? Well, based on, again, there's no evidence, and you've heard us say that 1,000 times tonight. I'm going to say this. I think if you're looking for logic, and in my opinion, I believe that one of them was left back at the house cooking, went down to get the other guys because they didn't want to get fined anymore, went down there to tell them make sure all the equipment is secure, and somehow a wave took them away. That's my theory. And I base that on the most, and I don't want to use this word logical because that's not something that we really look at here as logic because we want to bring out all the different scenarios.
But most likely.
The
Can I
most
just throw
likely
something in
scenario from the evidence, the little shred of evidence.
can I throw a dagger into that?
Go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
Because if you listen to what, dimensions, what they said, they were 110 feet above sea level.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This has to be the biggest fucking wave ever known to man then.
Well, they
All right,
did say
fine.
that it was
Suck
the
my-
worst storm they've ever seen.
All right, that's fine. In any storm, I want to know how big the waves are in that area when a
Okay,
storm
fine.
happens.
Suck my balls. I'll circumvent that theory with something that's makes even more sense. You ready for this one, asshole?
I don't know why you have to be so.
Hold on,
mean
on.
And call me names.
Hold on.
I have not called you.
Fergal
names.
was cooking up in the lighthouse.
And now we're gonna get racial.
Okay, we had William Wallace and we had Shrek down at the beach. Was Shrek?
Okay.
My point is, you had guy
Not
one.
sponsored, by the way.
Yeah, the two guys down there locking up and cleaning up because it was a bad storm and they had fucked up that in the past. So they're down there cleaning up their mess. Then you have Fergal up at the lighthouse cooking the haggis. And he's like, haggis is done. Let me go get the boyos. And he goes down to the beach or whatever the fuck rock face it is. And as he's standing there talking, a massive wind came because this is just after a fucking storm. So it's just after a storm. I'm sure there's still like residual winds whipping up.
Not to mention the rain does come from the sky.
Yeah, even though the storm was over, there was no rain.
No.
That's awesome.
You
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Hold on, wait a second. Let me finish, Mr. Meteorologist. You never been outside after a storm? It's still fucking windy, jerk off.
Yeah, especially if it's a bad storm like they were saying. I mean, Sandy hit here back in 2012, and the winds lasted for a week.
Yes, I understand. Okay.
And so while they were on the cliff face, a wind picked up, knocked one of them off the cliff. They tried to rescue each other, and they fell in the fucking drink. Or they were hit by something massive. Maybe there was a dinghy that came up and hit them all at the same time.
Or maybe this guy was preparing the meal, saw this happen, went outside to try to rescue the other two and met with the same fate.
Now, I understand. Yes, maybe. But no one's saying it's a fucking UFO. No one's saying it's a ghost or spies or Thor or any of these stupid fucking theories that you could wipe your ass with. Well, why are you the champion of dumb theories?
I'm not saying that but I'm not going to sit there and fucking say, well, I'm going to use logic, and this is the most logical answer, and I'm throw everything else out.
Okay, I'm going to throw out that. So all I want to know from you is, what do you think?
It could be a variety of possibilities.
So
we don't know.
So in other words, anything. You don't have a clear-cut theory in your head.
Do you?
Yes. Yeah, a theory. I have a clear-cut theory.
That's fine. Okay, and I have many theories that I could sit there and say could possibly happen. That's what a theory is, asshole!
I understand. You know what? I'm not arguing with you, dumbass. All I'm just saying
I'm a dumbass because we all have theories.
No, you're not giving us a theory. All you're saying is, I don't know.
Anything can happen.
Exactly.
Anything.
A pirate ship.
Well, you know what? We could have done that at the opening fucking credits. Anything could. This is about the Flannan Islands, and anything could happen. See you next week. Come on, Joe.
So, okay, it could have been a UFO, because when's the last time you saw anybody that come back from a UFO and say, yeah, I got taken from a UFO? It could have been pirates.
The movie Communion seems to work.
What?
The movie Communion seemed to work.
Movie?
Whitley Strieber was taken up by a UFO.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, number two.
I told you. Next question.
Okay, number two, pirates. A lot of pirates around that area. Could have been. We don't know. There's no evidence to it. There's no evidence to not support it.
I would probably say no to the pirates because it was hard to get up onto the rock anyway. And number two, there was no sign of like being raped or pillaged, and nothing was taken except the guys.
The pirate thing again, you got the same amount of evidence with the pilot thing as you do with the washing away at sea. Now I'll give you another scenario. Two guys were outside doing the thing. They were securing the thing. Pirates came along. Hold on a minute. Pirates came along. They were attacking the two guys that were outside. The other guy left in a hurry, locked the door because he didn't want the pirates to get inside the goddamn place to go and help his friends, and was killed too. That's why the pirates didn't take anything, because the pirates couldn't get into the
So now you're in the same boat as I am then?
No, I'm just saying to you, you can sit here and make anything you want.
You can entertain any theory.
Right,
but
I just want to know what your most logical
And I just said that.
You know, you didn't. You said it could do. There's so many, it doesn't matter.
Because you can't sit there and turn around and say the most logical.
This host gives me diarrhea.
You can't because logic would say there's evidence left behind and show what happened.
No, that's not it. Logic is looking at what is remained and then drawing a conclusion that would best fit the evidence. There's not a lot of evidence, and because you have a lack of evidence, and I think that's what I'm trying to. Every episode I've been on, I do the same fucking thing where I argue. Every single thing, I'm sitting there going, well, we can discount that, and everyone's going, no, you can't, it could be this, could be that. Just because I'm saying we can discount it doesn't mean I'm saying that it can't happen. Of course it could have been a UFO. But there's nothing leading to that conclusion.
Okay, what's leading to your conclusion then?
The fact that they're on a fucking rock in the middle of the ocean after a big storm.
Okay.
Mistakes can happen.
It's somewhere along there's only, again, I had two theories, but now the pirate theory does intrigue me. So I'm going to bump my theory up to 3 theories. And I can't go anywhere else other than that.
The likelihood. That's I guess where my factoring point is. It's the likelihood. Where does that seesaw begin to tip? Where are the things that I think could definitely happen and the things that I really don't believe could happen because of either I don't believe in them, or there's no evidence for it, or it doesn't make any sense. And wherever that tips, that's where I'm feeling.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. You're absolutely right. It doesn't make sense. But to sit there and go, a sea monster did it. Because I'm sure there's some fucking Scottish nut job out there who believes that a sea monster ate these 3 men. And he knows it happened. Whatever fucking book he might have read or theory he came to, he knows it happened. And I'm going to sit there and go, there's no evidence for that.
Well, if he could provide evidence.
He can provide all the shit he wants to, but I'm going to sit there and go, there's no dinosaurs floating in the Scottish Isles.
Well, if he could provide evidence.
They've already disproved Nessie.
You're telling me...
They've disproved it.
From the ocean that we've only discovered 10% on.
I'm not saying there's big fucking things in the ocean, but a monster
that would
like
be
a dinosaur. No, there's not. They don't exist. They're dead. The dinosaurs are dead. There's no dinosaurs anymore.
Yeah, at 110 feet above sea level, I'm going to rule out the monster.
Could have been a ghost. I don't know. Has there been any sort of paranormal sightings at that place? I'm sure it's been a lighthouse for the last 100 years. They didn't just close up shop. Has anyone else reported any sort of ghost other than maybe these three fucking assholes who still haunt the island? And if they're not any, if no one has ever said anything about ghosts, why the fuck is it a theory?
Well, did you read it?
Well, they did say that they did say a possibility of paranormal, but they didn't give you any evidence to back it up.
Someone said that the devil himself might have done it. Someone said that because of associations with early Celtic Christianity, that Saint Flannan himself built a chapel on the island. They don't know which Saint Flannan. There's multiples. But one of the Flannans built a chapel on the island, and it wasn't there when they built the lighthouse, and now he haunts the place. My point is, if no one has ever said anything about ghosts ever in the history of this place, chances are there's no fucking ghost there.
You're right.
So I'm going to throw ghosts out. UFOs, I can't fucking prove. I can't prove a UFO. So I'll throw that to the wind. God only knows. I think it's the easiest thing, an accident. Because humans are accident prone and we're stupid and we're easily killed.
Your theory is just as valid as anybody else's theory.
No shit, asshole!
Okay, so we're arguing in circles then.
No, we're not arguing in circles. But you won't be... See, my theory is as valid as your theory, but you're not providing a theory. What do you think happened?
I can believe in all the theories.
Okay. So, all right, so what have we established tonight?
We've established that he plays himself with both hands.
So you got many... You don't really believe that there's no evidence or anything, so...
It could be anything.
Okay.
That's
and
you can believe in a fucking theory like that.
I believe in human error. I believe that they fucked up. They could have been trying to save each other. It could have been a gust of wind. It could have been pirates. I'll even throw the pirate thing out there. I like your spin on it. But anything other than that, monsters, UFOs, ghosts, kiss my balls. That didn't happen.
Well, I don't want anybody kissing my balls, but that's my theory as well. So, where do we go from here?
Ooh, well, did we read this? Did you read about the ghost in this one?
I don't know.
There's apparently the uninhabited island of what is that? The Aileen, whatever the hell her name is?
Aileen Moore.
Aileen Moore lies off the west coast of Scotland, is the largest of the Flannan Islands. Despite its beauty and isolation, the mainlanders always considered a haunted place. Upon the island stands the ruins of an ancient chapel. Its history is lost in the mist of time. Aileen Moore's lush green turf was perfect for the grazing sheep and farmers who often ferry their flocks across the flattening during the day. This is where the Lighthouse keepers used 140,000 candle power light was extinguished.
And that's where this lighthouse is?
Yes.
Okay. I don't understand. Superstition doesn't mean a ghost is there. Just because you believe a ghost is there doesn't mean that the ghost is actually there. I don't give a fuck that they believe that it was true. There's no evidence saying that it's true. And this is people in the 1800s. People are a lot fucking dumber back then. And they believed in the superstitions. And they believed in whatever the fuck rumor that they came up, especially because it had something to do with Christianity. And people are afraid of God.
And there's also a lot. You got to take into consideration the time too. You know, if you're on an island right now, and something happens, you're going to radio it in. There's radio. There's modern technology that can, at least, pinpoint what was going on. They didn't have that, so that's going to add to the mystery.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that they radioed in except for the stuff in the log in the journal. So, you again, to Joey's point, you're never going to know. You're never going to know. So it's going to be an open and shut case. People are going to be cut and dry. You fall into that category. This is what did it. There's no other evidence. Let's go on to the next.
We could argue till St. Swithin's Day. It's not going to change anything. They're fucking gone.
Right. Well, I don't think we're trying to change anything here tonight. I think what we're trying to do is just open the possibility of other theories. And I think we came across 3 credible theories. But the other stuff, I'm not too. Normally I say you got to leave it open, and you still do. Because if you have no evidence, you still have to leave it open because your evidence is just as good as anything else.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
That's what I was trying to get at. Thank you. So,
in words, I guess you can sit there and say that. But like I said, there's many possibilities to sit there and talk about. But I think if we continue to go on this, we're going to be running around in circles and circles and circles and just arguing with each other all night.
Uh-huh.
So, I think this is where we'll end.
Yeah, just all I want is some feedback from anybody out there who is listening to this. Leave it in our comment section or whatever we got there on Instagram. What do you think happened? I mean, is this something that you guys had, or if you're listening, that you might have been interested in? Do you have a theory? Because it'll be just as credible as anybody else.
You could sit there and love hearing us argue with each other.
And if you're from Scotland and you know this fucking place, let us know. Maybe you have some insight, because maybe you could see it from, I don't know how they could see it from their main isle. If they could, like, some asshole's herding sheep and listening to us on a podcast, and he can look out and see the island, and he's like, oh, there it is. It's fucking scary, isn't it?
They're probably going to shut us off.
Yeah, Scotland's going to ban us. That's what they're worried about.
No, the people of Scotland.
Yeah, okay.
Probably not like you. I really hope you get jumped by a bunch of Scottish people.
You know what, Joey? Not for nothing.
Right, let's go.
All right, calm yourself, all right? I understand you have sleep to get to. So we're going to end this episode here. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, and fuck you.
No, thank you. That's not my job.
I'm not afraid of a country whose national organ is the fucking bagpipe, okay?
Oh, okay.
I don't think we should go off on Scotland.
Yep. So I'm going to shut Anthony off. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. See you next week.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.